Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander Season 4, Episode 11. This is not a market substitute. Please support the original. He did go through. You know what? I don't blame him at all. No way. So he was just bathing in the river and thinking about it. So did he actually find the stones, or was that all a dream? That was a great switch, though. They totally had me. Oh, good job, Outlander. I knew it was too easy. Billy Boyd? Pippin?
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast? Luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, supper? He knows about them, doesn't he?
I wouldn't count on it.
Did Brianna draw all those? Wow, she's pretty good. She did. Well, I guess there's not much else to do.
You thought you were protecting me. But I made such a mess of things.
Oh, Lizzie, it's not your fault. When I first saw her character, the introduction was so swift and odd. I wasn't sure what to think, but I really like her now. I'm so glad Brianna has someone like that. Someone she can count on.
I can't forget the things he said to me.
Yeah.
I'll leave you to your...
Totally out of line.
I'd be seen as a fearsome brute.
Well, you have been acting like one lately, Jamie.
Did the Cherokee recognize that? They believe it's from a Mohawk village called Shadow Lake.
I like how Ian has become such an asset because he's been going and talking to them to trade so often now. I assume he knows at least a little bit of their language. As you saw here, he was the one who went and had the discussion. And from the very first episode, he was really intrigued by the indigenous people. And so I like that they've taken this direction with his character. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he found his romantic attachment with them. Just throwing that out there. I want the best for Ian, so. Right now, he might be my favorite character on the show.
I can speak some Mohawk.
See, there you go. Hitting me in the feels with these tree shots. I love forests. Oh. Look at this setting. Oh. Hopefully there's no poison oak.
I hate to see you both suffering so.
Oh, Ian.
Oh, merde.
Uh-oh. Just because you grabbed one doesn't mean there aren't 10 others in town.
It is usually the men that do the butchering, rather than having been butchered themselves.
Oh, Fergus.
There's no work in Wilmington for someone like me.
Leave and go be with Jamie. Why are you hanging around here?
Phaedra, could you please tell my aunt I don't need a new dress?
But you do, mistress. And a new dress will help hide your condition.
Hide it from whom?
Okay, in the opening sequence, there's a hand that goes down the railing with, I think, the pearls that are the necklace wrapped around it. And I assumed it was Brianna. And now I'm seeing the yellow fabric, or the gold fabric. Pretty sure it was that dress. I think we're about to see that scene from the opening.
Phaedra, stay there, by the window.
I want to draw you.
Wait, it's your face. Here.
Why on earth would you do that?
You're beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be good to draw something hopeful. Because all of her charcoals have been so...
Some lively conversation.
Thank you, but I'm honestly happier being by myself. Reading, drawing.
I'm with Brianna on this one. I'd much rather be up in my room reading. But she has a duty because her aunt has been very kind, has been letting her stay, will likely be paying to have someone there during the birth, a midwife at least. So she's duty bound to be present at the dinner and do whatever she can. But yeah, I get that. I feel you, Brie. She's like, we need to have a talk.
About the taxes with the governor and the regulators. Tell Fergus you want him to fight alongside you.
Ah, sis.
Aye. I can.
He needs to feel needed.
Then you understand why I'm asking you.
Oh, this guy. I usually love Navy officers, but he's the exception. Billy! It's Pippin! There's the shot. Oh my goodness.
Here, where are you, dear friend?
I have
You do not disrespect Pippin.
Brianna?
Take his arm.
May I present Lord John Grey?
No way. How does he just pop up everywhere? Don't get me wrong, I love his character, but he just seems to appear in like every episode. People will just be kind of going along, doing their thing in an episode, and then he just goes, I'm Lord John Grey. But not that I'm really objecting, it's just funny, that's all. It's gotten to a comedic level at this point.
Maybe I should just teach the regulators how to whale instead. It's very effective.
Son.
If I'm to fight Tryon's army, I can think of no man I'd rather have by my side.
I'm honored that you've asked. But my place is here. With Marcelly and Gemma.
That meant a lot to Fergus. Good job, Marsley.
Must I close my eyes when you are before me?
Oh, he's smooth.
I was walking with Christ.
And the animal you saw?
A squirrel.
It seemed that your problems are secrets.
Something Mrs. Alderdice doesn't know about then, since the squirrel is in her garden.
If you'll excuse me for a moment, I must take some air.
Oh, she got a little bit too accurate there. Notice she's putting her elbows on the table, something you would never do. And I like that they're having her do that because she wouldn't know. Everyone else is carefully keeping elbows off, and she's just plunk. Good touch there.
He did ask me to look in on you.
Oh, that's why he's there.
And he gave no reason at all as to why all might not be well.
No. But from your response, I'm beginning to suspect it might not be.
He might be the perfect person to talk to about her father because she's really upset right now. And he has kind of an idealized version of Jamie in his head all the time. So if the two of them could sit down and have a conversation, maybe they would temper each other's opinion. Brianna would be on a path to forgive her father and see his better side. And John could perhaps start to see his flaws and start to let go, be ready to move on. So I could see this as a really good thing if the two of them could sit down and have a candid heart-to-heart.
Perhaps we could take a walk in the grounds and discuss in more detail.
Oh.
My dear.
Oh, perfect job, Brianna.
Oh, Lord John, please escort my niece into the parlor.
In your condition.
Oops.
Lizzie, I'm fine. Really, I'm feeling much better. Well, Roger and I were handfast with no witnesses.
That is a predicament.
Mm-hmm.
When your father wrote and asked for me to come, he enclosed a letter.
Oh, he knew to close the doors.
May I speak frankly? And the rest? You just pulled them out of a hat?
What a strange expression. It's time we found you a husband. You'll be branded a fatherless bastard. I ken you once had the man you loved. But he's gone.
I can see the aunt's perspective, and she doesn't know Claire and Jamie and their stubbornness, and that they will accomplish anything that they set out to do. So the aunt has a very practical mind, but I feel like she's lost the ability to recklessly love.
I think you've got the wrong room, sir.
Why?
I'm looking for a gentleman. You're no gentleman.
Well, at least Lord John found someone. That's good. Oh no.
Return to your wife and child. What are you doing?
Unhand him!
Oh, she's going to ask Lord John for help.
It's not too cold for you.
Will you marry me? Mm-hmm.
Oh, dear God in heaven. I'm not sure this is what your father had in mind when he asked me to look in on you.
I know, but if I didn't ask for the sake of my
Oh,
child,
you are your father's daughter, that's certain. I cannot take your hand in marriage.
it is with deep regret that I'll have to reveal what I saw you doing last night with one of my supposed suitors.
Whatever it is you think you saw, you're quite
see.
mistaken.
No, I know what I saw.
I'm sorry, Brianna. But I cannot marry.
No, I'm sorry. I really wouldn't have said a word to anybody.
No.
Yeah, we know. You can tell him.
I was violated. His name is Stephen Bonnet.
Now that Lord John knows who, he can exert his influence to take care of Bonnet, which I think ultimately will be safer than the just randomly running around town trying to take Bonnet out. And then, of course, Marta is already in trouble because of that. Much better to go through official channels in this case, I think.
Mr. Forbes has a matter to put before you.
Thank you for waiting for me, my dear. Have you told them our good news?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I knew he'd come through. Oh, Pippin, I'm sorry. That's a bone.
I've seen this man before.
You have? Oh, of course, the other man. Right. Well, they're on the right track then. 1 month behind. That's not too bad. I mean, with the traveling distances and speeds of this time period.
You have a son. I didn't know that. If he is anything like his father, he must be a perfect gentleman.
He is. Very much like his father. We're all here in this new world, not because it's new. These lands are as old as any. It's only new because there is hope.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's only new because it has hope. You know, that is something we've lost here. It'd be great to get that back. Sense of hope in America. It's a good line. They're probably happy to be home. Oh, was it good to see Billy Boyd? When I saw his name in the credits, I was like, is that him? Got a little bit excited. And of course it did bias me toward his character. I'll just admit that. And honestly, he might have been a great person for Brianna. Who knows? The difference is he doesn't have that personal connection with her family. He was in it partly as a business transaction, which is how marriages worked back then. I don't know how I feel about the Lord John interaction with Brianna. I was hoping that would go a little bit more smoothly and they would have more of a chance to really talk things through. But I think it was because Brianna was very worried and upset and she didn't have time for all of that. So she went straight to the point, which was very much like Jamie. And so I think that's why Lord John ended up jumping in at the end, because she is a lot like her father. And he realized that she would be safest with him, even though it would be a lot of work. I mean, he knew going into it that Roger would likely show up a year later, and then he'd have to get the marriage annulled and figure all that out. And then it would affect his reputation. It would affect his son's reputation to have his wife and new child suddenly leaving. Would have been a huge gossip thing back then. Really would have affected his career. So he had to put all that in balance with helping Jamie and Brianna. And I think that's why at first he was like, this is not logical. This is not good. This isn't going to work. But then a few minutes after she left, he was like, I can't let this happen to her. And that's when he burst in. Just let his heart do the talking of what he wanted to do, not what was the smart thing for his family. They have to get married before it is obvious. And she was definitely starting to show, so maybe another month at most in this particular situation. That's not enough time because Claire and Jamie were about a month behind and they don't know exactly where they're going. So I'd say another 2, maybe 3 months to find Roger, and then they still need to get him all the way back. So maybe a year? That's my prediction. That'll be awkward. And we don't have that many episodes left this season, so I think Claire and Jamie are going to find Roger, but that's it. By the time they get back, Brianna will be in Virginia. If she's in Virginia, though, that means George Washington might come into it again. And I know this show. I bet she'll be friends with Washington when they come back. Or Martha. Or everything will just go horribly wrong. This is Outlander.